feel like this was going to have a massive price drop instantaneously. Do not pre-order this and do not buy this immediately. Hi guys, Gear64 here, and I'm coming at you with another release video. Yes, we've been on a roll. We continue to be on a roll with this. I think this sixth month in a row I've been getting these release videos out. Been a lot of fun, and you guys seem to have enjoyed it. I like doing them. For those who are new, how I do my release videos is I just pick some movies that I'm interested in, some mainstream releases, some things that are kind of curiosity picks and so forth. And I split it up into categories with new releases and then older releases, Steelbooks, and then special releases, which includes TV shows as well, special editions, box sets, and things like that. These are the releases for the month of March in the year 2022. There are some interesting things this month. I think that there were better things last month, but there are some interesting things, and there's a lot more in the special releases than there usually are. So yeah, I'm interested to go ahead and break into this, talk about this, and let's just go ahead and get into this. First section up is new releases. We're kicking this off with probably the biggest movie release. I think this is probably the biggest movie release for this month, which is Matrix Resurrections, which I did see. I saw it on HBO Max, and yeah, wasn't very good. The reviews for it are accurate. I will say that I liked it better than the third Matrix movie, probably, which isn't saying a whole lot because I really don't like any of the sequels. The first Matrix movie is great. I have it on Steelbook right here. It is one of my favorite Steelbooks that I own. I just really like the art on the cover. Matrix Resurrections was like, there had some good ideas in it. It was like high concept and weak on delivery. You know, that's kind of how I would say for all of these sequels to The Matrix. They were like high concept. They had some ideas in there that were interesting that they didn't execute on. And the worst offense for The Matrix Resurrections is that the action was terrible. It was terrible. This is an action movie. How are you going to, like, it was some of the worst, like, action scenes I've seen in a while, and just very bland and boring. And action scenes should not be boring in a Matrix movie. You failed at that. So anyway, yeah, Matrix Resurrections is not one I'm going to buy. I don't own any of the sequels. Well, I do on DVD, but I don't own any of the sequels on Blu-ray. I'm fine with just having the first one on Steelbook. This is the only one I really revisit. Sometimes I revisit the second one, Reloaded. Yeah, Reloaded. That one's not too bad. But the first one's really the only one that I usually revisit. So I'm not interested in getting this. This box that I'm showing here is the main 4K release box. There is a Blu-ray Target exclusive slip that just has the two pills on it, which is kind of interesting. So it's kind of cool that there's at least some exclusiveness to a Target or a Walmart release. Every once in a while, they give you an additional slip or something like that. But yeah, Matrix Resurrections. Did you guys see it? What did you guys think about it? Again, I think this is the biggest release for the month, and you'll see it pop up in the other categories as we push forward. Whoa. Next up is West Side Story. This was the Steven Spielberg remake of the musical. I don't really like musicals. I'm not really a fan of musicals. There are some that I somewhat enjoy, but it's certainly not a genre I'm a big fan of. So I really have no interest in this. I also really don't have much interest in remakes and reboots either. So there's two dings against it. So I don't really have an interest in checking this out. It was kind of a bomb in the theater. So I don't really think anybody else really cared to watch this either. But West Side Story is coming to 4K. Coming to America. This is just like Jungle 2 Jungle. Although Jungle 2 Jungle was the first one, Coming to America's the second one. So that's why they used the two. Trying to be witty, I guess. I've seen Coming to America, the original one. I did not see the sequel. I don't really have much interest in seeing the sequel. The first one was pretty funny. But not really high on my comedy tier list. The sequel, the thing that's interesting about this is it's only getting a Blu-ray release, no 4K. Not that it's really that big of a deal. I mean, comedies and dramas, I think, who really cares if they're 4K? I mean, maybe some dramas, but comedies, it's really just about the jokes and delivery and stuff. And you don't really need high resolution in order to enjoy a comedy. So it's not super surprising from that perspective, but it is kind of weird that it's kind of a mainstream new release movie that's not even getting a 4K release. And it's not the only one this month to actually for that to be the case. So, but has anybody else seen Coming to America? I don't know of anybody else who's seen this. I don't even remember anybody even talking about it. I barely remember it came out. Nightmare Alley is getting a 4K release. This is the Guillermo del Toro movie that I'm interested in checking it out. It is currently on HBO Max. This is one of those movies that has ended up on streaming before it even got a physical media release. Now, this I've noticed has been happening the last couple months where they've been putting out the movie on streaming service before it even gets a physical media release. So they do the theatrical only release, then they do the streaming release, and then a couple weeks later or a month later, they release the physical media. This is becoming a trend with certain movies, specifically with stuff that ends up on HBO Max, but it's also happening with Disney movies, with Disney Plus, like Encanto. Encanto released on the streaming service weeks before it released physical media. So, yeah, it's an interesting trend that I'm noticing more and more. But I have not checked out Nightmare Alley yet. It's on my watch list. I really want to check it out. Seems like something that's up my alley, pun intended. Sing 2 is getting a release. This is obviously the sequel to Sing. I haven't seen it. Again, I don't really like musicals. This is an animated musical, so it's for kids and it's a musical, so I don't really care about it. But I mean, somebody might be interested in Sing 2. It's a pretty mainstream release coming out, and I don't think it's on any streaming service yet. So, yeah, Sing 2. If you got kids or something, probably be a good movie for them. It'll probably have some catchy songs you're gonna hate by the end of by the 15th time that you're forced to watch it. National Champions. So this stars J.K. Simmons, and I didn't hear anything about this movie at all. I saw that it was coming out, so I checked out a trailer for it. It looks pretty interesting. It's something that's kind of something that I'd be interested in. I really like sports movies and stuff like that. Even though I'm a football fan too, or at least I used to be. I don't really watch the NFL anymore. I still watch some NCAA. I know I'm a geek and I watch football. I guess that's pretty much more common these days. But growing up, if you liked comic books and football, those usually didn't go together. But I like watching NCAA football, and I just like sports movies. So this seems like it's something that I'd be interested in. I do think I've been talking about NCAA athletes not getting any of the money that the NCAA pulls in for a long time. It's been a discussion and a debate, and that's kind of what this movie is about, at least based on the trailers I watched. So it might be something that's that I might actually want to check out. Next up is older releases. First up is The Core. Yes, this was the Hilary Swank movie where they go to the center of the earth to save it. Yeah. Probably a better movie to watch disaster related than watching the new Moonfall, at least from what I've heard. I'm going to check out Moonfall anyway, regardless. I like disaster movies. They're just dumb popcorn fun. And, The Core I have not seen in years, so I would like to pick this one up. It seems like it's pretty pricey for an older movie coming out. I think this is the first time it was released on Blu-ray. I think it was released on Blu-ray in Europe, but it didn't have a Blu-ray release in North America, at least from what I had looked at before. I may be wrong about that, so don't quote me on it. But if either way, it's been out of print for a long time, so it's coming to Blu-ray is pretty cool.
I've got a blast.
Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius. So I mentioned this last month on my release video. I talked about Nickelodeon has been putting out Blu-ray releases, specifically for their older stuff. There's still lots of stuff that I would like to see, but Hey Arnold was released last month, and we got Good Burger coming out, and we had Clock Stoppers and other Nickelodeon movies. I really want to see Snow Day. Give me Snow Day on Blu-ray. That's one of the things you got to do. But Jimmy Neutron continues the Nickelodeon set of putting out these Blu-ray movies. Now I have the DVD right here, and it's got a yellow box. That's weird. Why isn't it orange? Remember when in the VHS clamshell days, they would release these and the boxes would always be orange and the VHS tapes would always be orange. But anyway, I didn't get this on VHS. I have it on DVD, and I haven't seen it probably since I bought it. Can you believe this thing came out almost 20 years ago? Wow. Yeah, now I feel old. Yeah, 2001, over 20 years ago. I don't know if I'll buy the Blu-ray of this one in particular because it's not really something that I really care to revisit. But it's not the only Nickelodeon movie being released, because we also got Rugrats Trilogy on Blu-ray. A lot of people don't even realize there was 3 Rugrats movies. There was Rugrats the movie, there was Rugrats in Paris, and there was Rugrats Go Wild, where they meet the wild thornberries. Yeah, so there's 3 of them. I mentioned 2 of them, I think, in my DVDs that need Blu-ray releases last month, which is a good video. I'm going to have it linked at the end of this video. But yeah, all 3 of these are coming to Blu-ray. So yeah, 2 good Nickelodeon movies, or classic Nickelodeon movies, that are probably worth picking up if you have kids. These are movies that I'm less interested in picking up because I know I'm probably not going to rewatch them. It's not like Snow Day. Snow Day I'll rewatch. I know because I usually rewatch it once a year anyway. An American Werewolf in London. Yeah, segueing from Nickelodeon into this. This is an Arrow release. The box art looks awesome. Like, the box art makes me want to pick this up. Remember when you'd browse the video store and you wouldn't know anything about the movie other than just the art. The art would sell you on, you want to rent this movie, take it home, and watch it for the weekend. This is the type of art that they just don't really make anymore. And I really love it. I think the art is amazing. American Werewolf in London is a classic. I'm not a big horror fan. I've mentioned this many, many times. But I've seen American Werewolf in London one time, and I might be worth seeing it again. It's kind of pricey. It's an Arrow release, so those are always tend to be a little bit pricier. But it is cool that it's getting a 4K release with this great art. Flight of the Phoenix. This stars Jimmy Stewart, or James Stewart as they have him titled on here. But I'll always call him Jimmy Stewart. I've never seen Flight of the Phoenix. There's lots of classic movies that I have not seen. This is one of them. I've started to kind of go back and rewatch those, especially since a lot of the current stuff coming out I'm less and less interested in. Because of that, I have a lot more time to watch movies that are older movies, because I'm not watching the newer stuff. So this is something I'm interested in. It's a Criterion release, so it's on the high end. The box art looks nice. I don't think I'm going to pick this one up. Again, it's pretty pricey. I tend not to pick up Arrow or Criterion releases because they are on the high end, although I did just get the Great Escape, which was a Criterion release with some pretty good box art. So every once in a while I'll pick it up, but it just depends on what it is and what else is coming out that month. Panic Room is getting a 4K release. I've never seen Panic Room. Again, not really my type of movie, but it's cool it's getting a 4K release. Star is Born. This is the 1937 version. So a lot of people don't realize that there was multiple versions of this movie, but I'm so cultured. I am the most cultured of all the YouTube. No, I'm really not. But I do know, I did know that there was multiple versions of A Star is Born. Most people know the Lady Gaga, Bradley Cooper one, which again, not really my type of movie, but I did know they existed. I didn't remember the year, so this was the 1937 version. The other one, which was, what, in the 60s? I don't know. I don't have it pulled up. But the other one is the one that more people, I think, remember. But either way, A Star is Born, the 1937 version, is getting a Blu-ray release. And next up is a documentary, and I really like documentaries, and that is Trekkies. Trekkies, this is the 25th anniversary of this documentary. I can't believe this documentary is that old. But for people who don't know, who never watched my channel, I'm a big Star Trek fan. It is one of my favorite franchises. I have some ships back here and some stuff. And next month, I'm going to have several Star Trek videos. So, and more positive stuff, although I might review Picard Season 2, which I already know is going to be bad. I don't even know why I'm going to watch it. But Regardless, I am a big Trek fan, and I don't own Trekkies, so I may pick this up. I'm trying to get more documentaries and build up my documentary section, especially since a lot of documentaries I go back and revisit used to be on streaming services, and recently there was several that I wanted to go back and rewatch, and they are no longer on the streaming services. So that's usually the case. So if it's something you know you're going to rewatch, it's usually worth buying a physical media, because even if you only watch it one or two times and you get it for $10, I mean, that's $5 a watch. It's pretty good. The Sword and the Sorcerer. This is getting a 4K release. I've never heard of this. I've never seen this, but again, the art looks really cool. Just that classic. I think it's a 70s movie from the 70s. Never seen it. Never heard about it. The art just looks cool, and that's the only reason I'm putting it on here. That, and I'm curious as to anybody else has ever heard of this, because again, I've never heard anybody talk about this movie ever. But it's getting a 4K release. Of all the things to get a 4K release, something that I've never even heard of. That's interesting. Finally, we're to Steelbooks. First up is The Hunger Games. This is the Best Buy exclusive Steelbook set. Now, normally I put sets and collections and stuff like that in the special releases and not in the Steelbook set, regardless of if they're Steelbooks or not. But I'm putting this in the Steelbook section because there's a lot of stuff for a special release section, and the Steelbook section was looking kind of slim this month. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it in this. It's my list. That's what I'm going to do. So anyway, the Steelbook look really good. I really like the art on them. They do look pretty nice. It is a little bit pricey. It's coming in at $90, so a little over $20. It's probably not too bad a deal when you put that in the context, but ultimately these are older movies that some people already have on 4K, and other people have collections like I do. I'm fine with the collection that I have. These transfers are really nice. I'm not really going to upgrade. Again, I don't really care about the third and the fourth movies. I really wasn't a big fan of the third and fourth movies. I haven't gone back and rewatched them at all, whereas the first and second movies I have rewatched. So those are really the only two that I'd be interested in, and it's just not worth the upgrade for me personally. But I do think the Steelbook art looks pretty nice, and it's a pretty nice looking collection. Not really sure how the box is. The Indiana Jones box that held the Steelbooks turned out to be, it was just garbage. But other ones like the one with the Rambo collection with the Steelbooks in it were held together pretty nice, as well as the Back to the Future set was held together pretty nice. So I don't know if the box is any good for this, because it could be hit or miss. Who knows? Matrix Resurrections is getting a Steelbook release as well. Pretty boring Steelbook in my estimation. Not really something that I'd be interested in getting. There's not really good art. It's just the Matrix stuff. Pretty boring Steelbook overall. Kind of sums up how I feel about the movie, I guess. Boring overall. But it is kind of upsetting that Matrix Resurrections is getting a Steelbook release, and a Best Buy exclusive Steelbook release, and Ghostbusters Afterlife did not get a Steelbook release at all. So I guess I'm still sour about that. The box art for West Side Story, on the other hand, looks pretty nice. I like the color usage, and it actually looks like some pretty nice modern art. So pretty cool. I like the color usage on it, but again, I don't really care about the movie, so it's not something that I'm really interested in picking up. If I was a fan of the movie and I was going to pick this movie up, I would try and get the Steelbook, because I think the Steelbook art looks a lot better than the standard 4K release. Sonic the Hedgehog is getting a Steelbook release, and I'm not really sure if it had an original Steelbook release or not. I want to say probably not, but this is getting a Steelbook release, box set on 4K, and it's pretty basic Steelbook. Not much to say about it. It's not something I'm like rushing out to get. I still have not seen Sonic the Hedgehog. I wanted to support it when it came out, just because of the way that the creator basically forced the studio into spending millions of dollars to fix Sonic after the fans saw that monstrosity. So with all of the new Sonic stuff being announced, it's not too surprising that they're re-releasing this movie as a Steelbook for people who maybe didn't pick it up initially, or people who are just fans of Sonic. Nightmare Alley's getting a Steelbook release as well. Pretty boring Steelbook in my estimation, just Bradley Cooper's face with some stuff in the background. It's a very dark Steelbook. Again, not really a Steelbook that I would be rushing out to get, although I am interested in seeing the movie. Downton Abbey. So no matter how many times I see the title for this. I always want to say Downtown Abbey. Downtown Abbey. It's like a Berenstein Bears situation, Mandela effect type of thing with me. Every time I see it, I want to say Downtown Abbey. But Downton Abbey. Downton Abbey. It's getting a limited edition Steelbook release. Steelbook looks pretty nice. I do like the black and gold combination for the cover. I don't really know anything about the movie or the show or anything. Is it a show? Shows you how much I know about it. But I did think the Steelbook was kind of nice looking, and I know there's lots of fans of it out there. Dexter New Blood is getting a Steelbook release. The show finally ended. Dexter's probably one of the worst endings of a television show I've ever seen. At least it was until Game of Thrones came around. Game of Thrones, I'd say, is the worst ending for a television show that I've ever seen. Dexter would now be second place. And I was interested in it when they were like, hey, it's coming back. We got the original creator back because he wasn't in the later seasons of Dexter. And I was like, oh, cool. I want to see what he does with the character and what he does with the show. I don't recommend it. I'm just going to say that. I don't recommend it. Just settle that the ending sucks and just don't even bother with it. Special releases. So first up is a TV show that I talked about in my last week's video, and that is Yellowstone. I have all for the first 3 seasons here. Season 4 is coming out. Yellowstone is a show that I heard a lot about, and I finally got around to watching it. I bought this last month and blazed through all 3 seasons. Bought the 4th season digitally already because I didn't want to wait for the physical media. I just couldn't wait. I wanted to see what was going to happen. Season 4, I will say, is the weakest out of the 4 of them by a lot, in my estimation. I feel like they started making this show or this season without really having a plan for what they wanted to do, because there's a lot of different ideas here that kind of don't lead to a lot of places. Some character decisions don't make a lot of sense, and the story's just kind of a mess, I think, in season 4. Not very focused. But the first 3 are really good, and I want to get season 4 because I have the other ones, although I've already bought it digitally, so I don't know. The other thing is from what I looked at, all these other 3 seasons had these Dutton slip cases, right? Well, this season 4 doesn't seem to have it on any of the art, so I don't know if there's going to be the same slipcover for season 4 or not. The Batman The Complete Series is coming to Blu-ray. I believe this is the first time this full collection has been released on Blu-ray. I am a fan of the Batman animated, the original Batman animated from the 90s show. I have those seasons on DVD. I've not upgraded to Blu-ray, but I would upgrade to Blu-ray if I found a good deal on it. I have not got a good deal on the complete set yet, so I haven't upgraded. This is the other animated one. This came out much later. I remember not really liking the animation designs of some of the characters in it, but I remember seeing some episodes, and I'm sure there's lots of kids who were probably early 20s or something like that this was their animated series Batman, who would be interested in this. Brooklyn Nine-Nine Complete Series on Blu-ray is also coming out, and I didn't realize there's been 8 seasons of this show. I remember when it first came out, I actually really did like it. I thought it was pretty funny. The first season, I watched all the first season, and some part during the second season I kind of watched less of it, and I think by the time the 3rd season came out, I didn't really watch it. I just kind of lost interest in it, but I liked the first couple seasons, and I just can't believe there's 8 seasons of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, man. Magnum P.I, the complete series on Blu-ray, and this is something I might pick up. I really like a lot of the stuff from the 80s. It has a very unique style, and when you get these Blu-ray upgrades, as long as they actually put some work into upgrading the picture quality, it can be a lot of fun to watch. Tom Selleck and his mustache and Magnum P.I. is really good. There's even a crossover episode I remember where they had Murder, She Wrote crossover with Magnum P.I. So random because the 2 shows were not even remotely the same, other than the fact that they solved murders, I guess. But yeah, Magnum P.I. is getting a complete series release on Blu-ray, so that's pretty cool. Vikings is also getting a complete series Blu-ray. Remember when I said there's a lot of stuff in the special release section? Normally there's only like 1 or 2 things for me to talk about in this section. This section this month has got a lot of stuff, which is pretty good because it's kind of lacking in the new release area. But I can't believe the show is over with. I've only seen a few episodes. I'm glad that the show's over with because now I can actually sit down and watch all of it. Because by the time I started watching the episodes, they were around season 4 or 5, I think. And I just kind of wanted to watch it from the beginning because I'd seen episodes, random episodes, and it was intriguing. But now that it's over with and I know that it has an ending, I'm just like, all right, I'll check it out. I mean, unless it's a Game of Thrones ending. I don't know. Don't tell me if you've seen Vikings and you think the ending is just as bad as Game of Thrones or the ending is bad. Just tell me it's bad. Don't tell me what happens. Just tell me if it's bad or not. It would probably save me some time because if I get through all this whole entire show and the ending is another Game of Thrones, I'm going to break a window or something. Matrix is obviously getting a 4-film collection because the 4th film is now out. I don't really know anybody who'd want to buy this. Most likely, if you are a fan of the Matrix and you buy physical media, you already own a trilogy. Or if you're like me and you only care about the first movie, you just have the first movie. But regardless, I don't know of anybody who'd want to rebuy the original 3 movies and get this 4th one. So I don't imagine this set's really going to sell that way well, honestly. But maybe I'm wrong about that. I mean, the box itself doesn't even really look that interesting to me. Yeah, I don't know. the boxes for the Matrix just don't look very interesting. They don't. The Godfather trilogy is getting another release. It seems like there's a release of the Godfather trilogy every couple years. It doesn't even seem like it's been that long since the last release. But this is getting released on 4K. The one thing I will say about this, and I'm not sure, this may be the first time that they're actually putting this in the release, but it's got the recut version of Godfather 3, the one that came out in 2020. In this set. So this may be the first time that version of the movie was included in the trilogy release. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is. And I already own Godfather. I own it on Blu-ray. I own a pretty basic set. And I'm pretty happy with this. I don't really need anything fancier than this. I don't go back and watch Godfather 3 very often anyway, and I haven't seen the recut version. Really, I'm only interested in the first 2. So every once in a while, I might check out the 3rd one. I didn't even see The Godfather until more recently, so yeah. That blew a lot of people's minds that I hadn't seen Godfather. When was the first time I watched that? Last year? It wasn't that long ago. That was my first time checking it out, and I've seen it twice since then. So I didn't really care for the 3rd one. But either way, it's getting a box release as well as a special edition release. It's got some poster art with it that looks pretty interesting, but it's for the 50th anniversary. So, I mean, it makes sense why they'd want to release it for the 50th anniversary, but there's so many sets of The Godfather out there. Again, most people probably already own it. You'd have to be a mega fan in order to buy all these releases that are coming out. Again, I'm fine with the Blu-ray, and I'm a physical media collector, but I'm fine with the Blu-ray. I don't really need to buy the 4K upgrade. Finally, we got James Bond. Yes. The Daniel Craig collection is coming out on 4K. Now, this is interesting, and I saved this for last because it's one of the most interesting things coming out this month because, okay, I'm a big Bond fan. I own this amazing 50th anniversary, which is one of my favorite collections that I have. It's really great. I kind of just wanted to do a video on this release just to show what you can do with releases. But that has all of the Bond movies up until Skyfall. Now, I own Spectre separate, even though I'm not really a fan of this movie and I've only watched it one time. I own it, so I'm not really interested in getting this Daniel Craig collection. Now, the thing that's really weird about this, and something that I've noticed, is they released a Daniel Craig collection with Spectre. So these 4 movies, Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, and Spectre, had a release, and you can still get that release of those 4 movies in a collection on 4K for $50. Okay, pretty reasonable. 4 movies on 4K for $50, very reasonable. Okay, this collection, which includes No Time to Die, they're asking $100. So they want you to pay $50 for No Time to Die.
$50? And who you think you kidnapped, Chelsea Clinton?
What? Did they not realize that they previously released the Daniel Craig collection with Spectre and Skyfall and Quantum of Solace and Casino Royale, all 4 of those for $50. They released that. It's out there. You can still find it. So why would you pay an extra $50 for one movie? Just buy the movie separately. You know how much I paid for this thing? It was like less than $10 on Black Friday. Just wait. No Time to Die. Well, I guarantee you by the time next Black Friday rolls around, you'll be able to get it on Blu-ray for cheap. You'll probably be able to get a 4K for about $10, under 15. I guarantee you. The idea that they wanted you to pay an extra $50 for this, it's like, I feel like they don't realize that. I feel like this was going to have a massive price drop instantaneously. Do not pre-order this and do not buy this immediately. If you're interested in this, wait a couple months. I guarantee you it's going to nosedive. Honestly, your best bet is to just buy No Time to Die. It has its individual releases already out there. Just buy that on 4K and just add it to your collection. I mean, that's my recommendation. That's what I would do. I'm not very interested in that movie, so I don't know if I'll buy it. I might buy it as a completionist, just have all the Bond movies, but I don't really care necessarily. I really like Casino Royale and Skyfall. I think those are 2 great movies, but yeah, Daniel Craig as Bond I'm just not that interested in it anymore. I'd rather go back and watch Sean Connery, watch Goldfinger. That's the best Bond movie. So those are the releases for the month of March in the year 2022. A lot of pretty interesting things this month, at least a little bit different than normal. The new release section was fairly lacking, in my opinion, and I really wish that there were some more out of print titles that were coming. I was kind of let down a little bit on that, but this is the first time there's been this many movies in the special release section, this many TV shows coming out. So and very interesting special editions as well. What do you guys think? Was there something coming out that I missed that you guys are interested in that I didn't talk about? That usually happens. I'm not going to be able to pick all of the movies that everybody is interested in, but I feel like I did a pretty good job picking some stuff that's fairly interesting for this month. And as far as last month, what were my pickups? Well, I do have American Underdog. It's supposed to be here tomorrow. I pre-ordered it at the time of this filming. I pre-ordered it already and it's in the mail. It's supposed to be here tomorrow, so I can't really show it to you guys because I don't actually have it in hand. Hurt Locker on Steelbook was something that I really wanted to get. I didn't pre-order it because I'm an idiot, and I thought I could just go to the store and find it, and that didn't happen. So, but what do you guys think? What other stuff I talked about are things that you're most interested in picking up? And as I said, if there's anything that I didn't talk about that you guys are looking forward to, comment and let me know. I always appreciate the comments. I want to thank everybody for checking out this video. Thank you, subscribers, because you guys are awesome. And if you like this video, please like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff, or don't. I'm not a beggar. I get you 64, and I always tell you the truth.